Marta Demska, and I am the participant of the project Focus on Migration Moving Forward Together. Today, we begin a journey to explore the experiences of young immigrants through the powerful lens of documentary filmmaking. These short films, created by young people themselves, offer a unique perspective on hopes, challenges, and realities of navigating a new life in a different country. As we watch these documentaries unfold, prepare to be touched by resilience, inspired by courage, and gain a deeper understanding of a human experience of immigration. Let's listen and watch to the voices of those young people.
Can you introduce yourself? Where are you from and which country are you living in now?
Yeah, sure. My name is Mohammed. I'm originally from Turkey, and 2.5 years ago I moved to Germany, and I'm still living in Germany.
Hello, my name is Arabi. I'm 21 years old and I am from Germany. And today we're going to talk about migration and about my own story.
Can you introduce yourself? Where are you from and which country are you living now?
Hello, my name is Raikay. But normally I'm studying at Istanbul Technical University, majoring on management engineering in Istanbul, Turkey. But since January, I have been studying in the Hague University of Applied Sciences, which is in Den Haag, Netherlands. And I'm studying international business in there. But again, I'm an Erasmus student, so it's kind of not like a regular study. It's kind of a different one.
Hello, Mar.
Hello.
What is your backstory of your migration to Netherlands?
So it all started when I was born in Abu Dhabi, 2005. I grew up there for 5 years. After that, I moved to Dubai for 8 years. I did primary school there. I graduated primary school, did 7th grade, 8th grade. Then I moved in 2018 to Bulgaria. It was the biggest change of my life, I would say, because I've been studying everything in English. I've been used to living my life completely in English. I've had certain traditions and certain occasions where I would gather and do some certain things that I didn't get to do much in Bulgaria, and it also kind of felt like something missing in me afterwards. But at the same time, I had new experiences in Bulgaria. It really changed me into a newer person, into a more mature and more independent person, and it taught me a lot about life, having to make this really quick transition, moving to 8th grade at such a young age, at the age of 13, making this huge change all of a sudden and just having to get used to all of it at once. So I would say that that really changed me a lot, but these 5 years really prepared me for my following big move towards the Netherlands, which was in the year 2023 for my university studies after I had graduated high school in Bulgaria. And it was also a very, very, very tough first year. I'm just finishing my first year of studies right now. It was also really big obstacle for building my independence and building a networking and just getting to learn more about life and having some life experiences and things like that. But I'm really grateful for all the everything that I've been through and all the lessons that I've learned.
What do you work on?
I am working as a data analyst in Sony, and when I moved to Germany, I was a software engineer, also in an international company. So I would say I'm mostly working on the tech industry.
When and why did you come to this country?
For me specifically, Germany was actually a little bit luck, or like it's chosen to be like that, because actually I just applied to the company when I'm like 2.5 years ago. And after the interviewing processes, they said, okay, we have quite a lot of offices across all over the world. But for you, for this position, we can offer you a position in Berlin, if it's okay for you. And I accepted it. And afterwards, the processes got started.
So to understand my story, it is important to tell you the story of my parents. They both had to flee Sri Lanka, where they were born and raised, because of the war happening there. And my dad, he fled to Germany, and this was a very difficult path for him because he got stuck in one of the countries on his way, and he got sent back again, and then he tried again, and then he made it to Germany. And he was also very young at that time, I think around 17 or 18 years old. And my mom, she fled to India, and later she came then to Germany.
What field do you study in?
I'm studying international business, and it's basically on international business law, finance, valuations, behavioral economics, organizational behavior, people and organization, human resource management, management information system. We have different kind of fields in the management era. So it's basically like an international major, which is in a very international country. So it basically relates to it.
What do you think was the hardest part for your migration?
That's a good question. It goes deep. The hardest part for my migration there are actually a few things. I cannot say that there's one hard thing specifically. I would say is leaving family behind. That's a very hard thing. And I would say just having to be used to a new environment that you've never experienced before, a new environment that you've never seen yourself live there, and just have to completely change yourself as a person in order to adapt and develop in that surrounding and in that atmosphere. That was by far my biggest challenge, these two things. But you also have minor things, I would say, like maybe having to learn a new language or having to learn more about the culture and things like that. I strive to do this kind of thing so I can adapt quicker to a culture, to a place, to an environment, and so that I can also get along with people, so that I don't feel left behind, so that I don't feel discriminated in some way like this. But also from my experiences, I haven't come across that much of these problems in the Netherlands. I've experienced it more in Eastern Europe, this kind of discrimination and things like that, because of my religion and also because of my other race. So I'm half Egyptian, half Bulgarian. And it's just because in Bulgaria it's not usual to see something like this, so people just don't know how to accept it. They don't know how to treat such a person. They don't know how to interact with such people and things like that. It's very new to them, so it's a little bit also misunderstanding in the culture, and it was harder for me to get along with people there and to adapt in such a culture than it was in a more multicultural environment like in the Netherlands, or if I go to visit my parents in Dubai and things like that, in the United Arab Emirates, places where there are more nationalities.
How is the experience of working in a new country?
Yeah, I think initially it's a little bit challenging, but like if you have this kind of mentality and this kind of mindset, it's quite new. You can learn very new things, very good stuff in really short amount of time, and you are getting out of your comfort zone, and this is also very important for your personal growth. So I think I was always having this kind of mentality, and that's why I would like to explore more, try new things, learn new things, and always expand my horizon. That's why I think it was very good for me. I would say I'm seeing the good side of the experience so far.
It was difficult for my mom and dad, especially because they had to leave some of their families behind, and as well as friends. My dad, he finished his high school diploma, but for example, my mom, she had to flee during the school year, which was also kind of difficult for her, and she was never really able to finish her school. And my dad fled to Germany, especially because of security, because it wasn't safe anymore to stay in Sri Lanka, and also for better opportunities and just a better life in general.
How is this experience of studying in a new country?
Actually, I would say it's both easy and hard. It's hard because you basically moving to a whole new country, to a new culture. So when you study in somewhere, it's not only about the university or school itself. It's also about the cultures, the dynamics, the relationship between you and your friends and your teachers and everyone else in your living life. So it's kind of hard. But at some point, you're a student. You were a student in your home country, and you're still a student in your new country too. So there are some common areas that you can focus on and rely on your study. And since we are all students and we are like all open persons, we are social persons, as a student you can have the chance to be in very variety of different friendship groups, so you can have a lot of new friends, you can meet with a lot of new people, and it really helps you along the process to make it more easier for you.
Okay, so my question is, what advantages did you notice in your experiences?
So in my experiences, as many things as they have been hard, there are always advantages, there are always pros, there are always things that I've been privileged about. I actually need to think a little bit about this one. So, for example, in Bulgaria, I just felt like I was more privileged in the sense that I'm a more multicultural person. So, if we had, let's say we had one American teacher, I knew how to communicate with such people, and I also felt more mature as well, being in 8th grade, being in 9th grade, with people that haven't experienced much outside of their culture. And I just feel like I've been a little bit more understanding towards different kind of people in comparison with them. Another advantage I would say is just my knowledge in languages also. Growing up with this many identities and things like that, these nationalities, these sides, I had to go through all the languages as well. So knowing these languages really, I could say, is an advantage that has brought to me with my experiences. And also networking. This has really helped me. It has enabled me to network a lot easier with people, and I've managed to make a lot more stable connections. And I know people from all around the world, as I'm not the only migrant myself. I have a lot of friends that have shared similar stories as me. So these are some advantages that I can think of.
What are the most difficult aspects of working here?
Yeah, I think like when you move to a new city, even in a new city or a different country, you are facing some kind of a cultural differences. This can be like language barrier, this can be because like they have different kind of mindset and different kind of working style and lifestyle. And you have to be ready for this, because it's not maybe against personally to you, but it's the way they are working. So like you need to have that in mind always, that sometimes you are going to face some kind of discrimination, maybe some kind of like different kind of working culture. They might call you in your home country after 6 p.m. but in Germany, like it's not, most of the case it's not common to call you after 6 p.m. and so on and so forth. So I think the most crucial part to working in a different country is to having this different kind of mindset.
Okay, we have some questions for you.
Thank you. The first question. Oh, it's a bit difficult to open. Okay, what language do you speak at home? So I actually speak at home 3 different languages, trilingual, so Tamil, English and German. My mom, she isn't fluent in English and German, but she can speak it. And I'm not fluent in Tamil, so I just kind of mix together all the languages to communicate with her. And with my dad, I speak with him in German.
What are the most difficult aspects of studying here?
Studying in Netherlands, what are the most... Actually, the cultural difference, I'll say, because as a Turkish person, I'm more used to like being sincere, like being more like groups rather than individuals. But when you go to Netherlands, it's like the opposite way, I would say. They are so direct, which we are not actually, and they're like more individuals than like groups or families, you know. So it's one of the hardest things that I should face, and also the food culture. And food culture actually, okay. And secondly, food culture is very different from my country, and it's also a problem. Maybe it can seem as a basic thing, but food is like the one of the main things in our lives. And if you're not happy without it in somewhere, it's the problem actually. And also the weather. For example, I realized that weather is an important thing for me when I moved to Netherlands. For my whole life, I was like living in the same country, of course, visiting some places there, but you change when the weather changes. So now I understand it's an important thing for me, and this is difficult to think actually. You have to get used to it, you have to accept it because you can't do anything about it. So it's like maybe another point of view, food, weather, people, friendships, relationships, maybe they can seem like not very hard, not main things, but actually they are, and they are hard and important to get used to.
Was it easy to find a job or get accepted into a school in this country?
Actually, I would say yes. And I met with a lot of people, and I met people from Germany, Albania, Italy, Ukraine, Poland, Belgium. I don't know, I can keep counting, because it's too easy to be a student in Netherlands generally, because the processes are like not that slow, for example, like in Germany, but of course not that fast and unsystematic maybe like it is in Turkey. It's kind of in the middle, and it helps you to go through the... Actually, I would say it's easy because the processes are easy to follow, and the government or the universities helps you a lot along the process, so you can have a smooth landing to the country. And on the other hand, it's easy, but of course there are some very good universities in the country, and they're not that easy to go in, and it's not about the processes or something else, it's just about they are good universities. So in general, I would say easy.
Do you have any advice for people who migrate to EU from non-EU countries?
Well, culture is a really big issue that come across. I would say to the non-EU people that maybe they have to just be a little bit more, they have to try to be more patient when dealing with new people and things like that, because meeting people outside of their culture, sometimes they might not get along with some people, and there will be these kind of cultural misunderstandings, and it will feel like a community is being separated. But it's also not the immigrants that have to have this patience, it's also the people in these countries and in these places themselves. But we kind of don't have, we as immigrants, we don't have much control over that. So what I would say is, we as immigrants, we can strive to be a little bit more patient, more accepting, more friendly towards people. We can just try to break the ice every once in a while in the most respectable way, and also not overburn ourselves in trying to become perfect. None of us are perfect. Everybody has their challenges, everybody has their cons. It's very important that we learn to accept each other for who we are. So I would say that one advice is just be yourself, and try to work hard, do whatever you've been dreaming of doing, stick to that dream, work hard for it, but in the same time be accepting, be friendly, and just try to network with people, try to build connections, because at the end of the day, if you need any help, and if you're a long way from home and you don't have any family nearby, the people that can help you and support you the most are new friends that you've made or new people that you've met. So yeah, I would just say be yourself, be friendly, be positive, and always try to remain optimistic no matter what happens. There are always struggles, there are always hardships, there will always be, no matter what, no matter where in life, no matter what age, no matter where in the world. So we just have to remain ourselves, we have to remain pure, we have to remain honest, and we have to remain clear with our intentions.
Was it easy to find a job in this country?
No, it was actually really hard, because I applied to, before that I was already working in Istanbul in a company. Again, it was an international company. So I was already having a little bit notion of how is working in an international company with an international colleagues, working in English, not only in your native language, but also speaking the other languages within your colleagues. And then I applied to Boston Consulting Group, which is also an international company. And usually, because you are applying from a different country and you don't even have legal authorities in there. So initially nobody is trusting you at the beginning. So that's why they have really, really hard interviewing processes, and you need to pass all of them. So I had around 6 interviews over 6 hours. And after this, they are checking your language skills, your technical skills, your social skills sometimes, and so on and so forth. and after this you are getting accepted. And even if you got accepted, especially I can talk about Germany, the bureaucracy starts, and it's also a very painful process. I was again a little bit lucky because the company already assigned a lawyer for me, and he was mainly working on this kind of bureaucratic stuff. But if you apply by yourself and if you have to go over all those bureaucratic stuff, it's really, really challenging.
How did your migration background impact your self-development? Okay, that's a good question. I would say it impacted me in a positive way because I got the privilege to grow up in two beautiful and very different cultures. It was difficult, obviously, to combine two different cultures because I would say the Tamil culture is more conservative and the German culture is not that conservative in comparison, but I was able to get to know the best out of both of the cultures and combine them together. So yes.
What languages are used at your school? How do you deal with languages barriers?
Actually, maybe tons of different languages are being used because it's like a very international university. But I think as official languages, I'll say Dutch and English. And here's the thing, English is absolutely how good that you speak, it doesn't matter. I think there's always a language barrier because you're born and raised with a language and you know how to use it, to express yourself. But when you change it to English, even if you're like speaking fluently, you're not yourself, I think, because they say, two languages, two persons. It's like actually this thing said to be a good thing, yes, but also it's a bad thing because you're not your first you when you're speaking with another language. So absolutely there's a language barrier. Even if the Netherlands is the best language speaking persons in the world as a second language, it doesn't matter. Of course, everyone understands me, I know. I understand them, I know, but not deeply. So it's a problem and it's a barrier, I guess.
Would you migrate again, and to which country, and also for what reason?
Yes, why not? I would migrate most probably for a work career path, or maybe to pursue the rest of my studies or something like that. Also to exchange experiences in life in general, but I would focus on accomplishing one thing first, and then after that I would then think about migrating first. Or if I'm encountering something that is way too difficult or something that is way too unsuitable for my situation, and if there's like a very must need that I have to migrate. For example, in my past experiences, I've had to do it due to family reasons. So if in the future maybe I have some different very important reasons that oblige me to migrate and to move, to change my place, then definitely I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna accept it. It's not new to me anymore, so I have experience with it. But also I would do it as a way to experience a new culture, and I would also do it as a way to maybe learn a new language, maybe see something new. But first I would prioritize my goals in life and my dreams, and I would try to make that accomplish. And after that, when I'm a lot more free and a lot more with my peace in mind and a lot more feeling fulfilled in life, then I would definitely try to migrate to a different place, just so that I can set my priorities straight, so that I can finish what I have to do, and then after that transition from then on. And it's just the process of evolution, upgrading, of evolving. And to what country? To be maybe a warm country. I would go back to a warm country. So I've been born and raised in the United Arab Emirates. That was a warm country. I moved to Bulgaria, which we would get quite some heavy winters and some warm summers. Then I moved to the Netherlands, which is very wet and most of the time raining and cold. So I would move to maybe Spain. Right now we're in Spain. It's really beautiful here. It's lovely. I would even move here. Or maybe places like Italy, places like Greece, or maybe even outside of the European Union, a little bit ahead into the future. But I really have to also judge what is best for me in terms of in a political point of view, in a political aspect, and with what's going on in the world, and of course with what I can most certainly achieve my goals and get towards what I want to in life, because to me that's my priority. My priority is not to necessarily be here and be there and just see everything, experience everything. My priority, my most important goal is just to accomplish everything that I've dreamed of and everything that I've put my heart into and my efforts into, and from then on my second priority would be to do it wherever. So this is why I'm really spontaneous when it comes to moving. I really don't mind where the place is. I really don't mind how is the move gonna be. My past experiences, they've been quite spontaneous. I moved to Bulgaria with like 1 month's notice. I moved to the Netherlands with 1 week's notice. So I'm ready for any next challenge in life. As long as it can bring me closer to my goals, then I'm more than willing to accept it.
What languages are used at your workplace? How do you deal with language barriers?
I worked in an international company for like 2 years, and in there it was purely English because like yes, I was living in Germany, but my team was from Sweden, from Spain, from France, sometimes from United States. So that's why we had to speak the common language, which is like English basically. So it was purely English. And still now I'm working in Sony. Again, it's mostly English, but in here I have more German colleagues. And sometimes they would like to hear also German from you. So from time to time they want me to present some stuff also in German. So I feel more German pressure in the company that I'm working right now. But I think like in general it totally depends on which company you are working for. If you are going to work for Bosch or like BMW, for example, like more traditional German companies, then it's going to be for you, even if you are in a tech industry, it's going to be purely German, no English at all. But for like some companies, even if it's German company, for example, like Delivery Hero, it's also again a German company, but they are purely speaking in English. So it depends on the company that you are working for, but it's gonna be either German or English in Germany.
Question. Would you visit in the near future Sri Lanka? Yes. So first of all, fun fact, I've never been to Sri Lanka. Well, I was, but I was 0 or 1 year old, so I can't remember obviously. But I really want to go there, especially because I've seen pictures and it's really beautiful. I want to see my parents' hometown where they grew up in. So I'm excited to do that in the near future. Okay.
Was it hard to adapt to a new culture? How did you manage it?
Hard, definitely. I mean, I knew that moving to another country was hard. Of course, it's not an easy thing. It's not like this, but I define myself as a social or like a easygoing or adaptable person. So I knew that it was going to be hard, but I also thought that I can get through it. Of course, maybe I get through it, but not much that I was planning on. So how did I manage it? I just tried to live. I just tried to meet new people, eat some new things, see around, just live the life or observe the people, talk with people, observe the environment and the city and everything else. I just try to understand the situation and put myself into the best place in that situation. So it's like mostly observing, thinking, and trying to live with the plants, I guess.
How do you feel about your cultural identity because of your backgrounds?
That's also quite an interesting question because I also don't know it myself. Being born and raised in the United Arab Emirates, it has really connected me emotionally to that place. Also, growing up in Bulgaria has taught me a lot, and every time I go there, it feels special. But I didn't like myself living there. I didn't like who I was, and I just needed to move. I didn't like the mindset of the people that were just around me. So, and also I don't have much to connect with in Egypt. I just have been visiting it to see my families and stuff like that. I haven't actually had a life story there where I had to move there for a longer period of time and do something due to some kind of situation or anything like that. So it's quite difficult, and also now I'm embracing the Dutch culture. I'm getting to know more about it. I've been traveling around the whole country for the last year. I've been learning the language as well, and now I know a basic level of it. So really, it has been way too quick for me to kind of process all these cultural identities, and very often I do feel lost in who actually I consider myself as. But honestly, I kind of like feel my heart is mostly connected to the United Arab Emirates, but my personality is a mixture of all these places. So I really cannot say where my cultural identity is. I love all these places equally, even in the place that I haven't been there as much, in Egypt, for example, or maybe in the Netherlands. I've only been there for 1 year so far. And I have a special bonding and a special connection to all of these places, and they're all very meaningful to me. So I cannot exactly say that I have one specific cultural identity, but I claim myself as a citizen of the world.
Do you have family there? Good question. So most of my family actually they live all around the world now, England and Canada. But maybe I have distant relatives there. I'm not so sure. I have to ask my parents about that. Another one. Do you plan on staying in Germany or do you want to move away? So I really like Germany. I was born and raised here, so I will stay in Germany probably, but you never know what the future holds. But I'm very open for living for some time abroad and to travel. Yeah, we'll see.
What are the cultural differences you like the most and you find the most challenging in this country?
I have one answer for this. It is a very good thing and also a very bad thing. I won't say bad actually. Okay, I only have one answer for this. It's going to cover both questions, and it's being direct, because we are direct in Turkey, not in relationships like friends, work relationships, or emotional relationships. We're mostly not direct. Of course, we say what we think, we do what we think, but mostly we think too much about it. That how should we express it? But in Netherlands, it's not like that. They're all direct. Like if you wanna go, if you just tell your colleagues that you didn't like his or her job, and very directly, or if you like wanna meet with someone else, like in a bar, for example, you just have to say like, hey, I like your ex. I don't know, doesn't matter, and it goes like that or not. Actually, it's a good thing because you don't waste your time and you express yourself very fluently and clearly. But since I didn't born and raised like that, I have to get used to it, and I have to be, I don't know, ready for the mean words. Actually, they're not mean, but they're just direct, but it can sound mean to me. And I also have to be direct so people can understand me for real. So, and I'm not gonna waste my time, they're not gonna waste their time, just understand each other and go on. Yeah, that's like easy and difficult at the same time.
Do you miss your home?
Oh, it's absolutely, of course. I mean, I miss the people, miss my ecosystem, the food, the weather, and I don't think it's. I think for me, I think since I like lived there like 24 years, even if I like it was like a permanent thing, it's not a permanent. I know I'm coming back on August maybe, but even if it was like a permanent, I would say definitely for the rest of my life I would miss my home, because I like spent 24 years in there. It's not, and 24 years is not a thing that you can just forget, you know. So there's always gonna be some things that I'm gonna miss, but also I'm gonna replace those feelings with others. For example, spending my time with my friends near to the Bosphorus. Okay, that's the thing that I'm gonna miss or I'm missing. But I just replace it. Spending my time on the canal, drinking beers with my German friends, let's say. Now I missed it. I feel something else, something very good again, but something else. And I'll try to forget this one. Of course, I won't, never. But still, I replace it, so my suffer is decreased, I would say.
What advice would you give to your past self? So I talked about how I struggled being between two cultures, the Tamil and the German culture. So I think I would tell my younger self to take it easy and do the things that feel right, and obviously don't do the things that feel wrong, and don't let yourself be pressured by, I don't know, for example, German people will say you're not German enough, or Tamil people will say you don't fit into the Tamil culture because I'm too German for them. So yeah, I just don't want to stress myself out about it and figure out as what I identify as German or Tamil, and just take it easy. Do you keep traditions of Sri Lanka? Yes, so I obviously grew up with Tamil parents and in a Tamil household, so we have these traditions, and for example we also celebrate Tamil festivities, for example the Tamil New Year, which is in April I think, and I'll keep those traditions also for sure in the future, what my mom and dad taught me, because it is very beautiful.
Okay, that was it. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you for listening. I hope it was relatable and that you were able to learn something new.
How was this experience affect your personal growth?
Actually, every way. Like I improve my language, my personal skills, let's say, my knowledge about different cultures and different people, my observation skills, my communication skills, like everything. Before I go to the Erasmus, a close friend of mine, which I really trust and adore, he just told me that I a different person after Erasmus, and I thought like, what can happen in the Erasmus? What can you do? Like you were studying in there, and what's the big thing about it? You just party, study a bit, travel around, and come back, right? But no, actually, it's not like that. It's like I'm a totally different person than before. Sometimes in a good way, and sometimes in a bad way, which I can currently observe and like tell. I'm worse in some things, of course, but I'm very, very better in something. So at the end of, I would say I'm a different person because studying, which is Erasmus, affected my personal growth very well.
Thank you.
Okay, then thank you.
So, what advice do you have to make immigrants' life better?
As I mentioned earlier, just be yourself, be friendly, be accepting towards others. Even though you might experience some things that you don't like, you're still living in a different territory, or you're encountering a different experience. So it's something new. And I would just say try to be as accepting as you can, try to be as positive and as optimistic as you can. No struggle lasts forever, everything has its end. There's no light without darkness, so just always be patient and always be positive about the things you do, and don't let anything stop you, because a lot of immigrants do what they have to do because of their situation in life, and because they want to get to a certain place in life. They will have certain goals. They want to build a stronger family, they want to build a more successful career path, or whatever reason. So never let anything stop you. Never forget where you come from. That's very important. Always be humble. Always remember and recognize your identity. Even me, for example, I have many different cultural identities, and I claim myself as a citizen of the world, as I mentioned in the previous question. But I also represent every single piece of that identity in me. And this is what I would say also to every immigrant. Don't forget your backstory, don't forget your background, don't forget the people that were there for you since the very beginning. But in the same time, try to be accepting towards the people that you'll meet in the future, or towards the situations that you'll come across, and things like that. And just be happy. Happiness is very important in life, so just try to do whatever makes you happy. Try to find ways to help you go through the struggle a bit easier. It's very important, especially when some people have to migrate or some people have to move because they have no other choice.
How have you made new friends or built a social network in this country?
Yeah, I'm living in Berlin, so I think I'm a little bit lucky because Berlin is quite an international place. Even if you don't speak German, you will easily find some international people who speak English, or also people are very open to speak English to you. And I think in Berlin I have that privilege that it's an international and a big city, but on the other side it's very different to move to another country as a student or as a working person, because if you are a student in a new country, then you will have like people surrounded by you, still like young, energetic, and you will have a bit more time to go out and explore and to like attend events and so on and so forth. But it's different when you are working, because mostly the people surrounded by you can be like either married with already some kids, so they don't have like a big social life, and you have to deal with yourself. Still, we have a lot of events, especially I'm from time to time attending to one of those. I was already knowing some friends before who moved to Germany and specifically to Berlin before I did. And like when you know one person, it's always connected like this. Then you can meet with your friends, and then friends of friends became your friends, and then you are just expanding your. So if you want to make new friends, I think the very important. I know one very wise person who always says you have to be tiger in the day and tiger in the night.
Thank you.